साष्टांग श्री साईनाथा स्मरावे मनी त्वपदा नित्यभावे पुरावे तरी भक्तीसाठी स्वभावे तरावे जगातारुणी मायताता नमस्कार साष्टांग श्री साईनाथा
Sri Shirdi Sai Baba is undoubtedly among the great spiritual teachers of our time. His believers throng to Shirdi from all parts of India and even from distant countries. He is the Samarth Sadguru, the ultimate master, who is always by the side of his ever-growing legion of devotees. The phenomenal growth in the number of Baba's devotees is unique, indeed unparalleled. Shirdi Sai Baba is God incarnate to his devotees. His is a spiritual force which combines all faiths. He is the apostle of peace and humanism, bonding and bringing everyone together under his benign grace. The trust reposed in him is fully redeemed with a touching sense of immediacy.
My daughter was born premature. Doctors said she would not survive. We prayed to Shirdi Sai Baba. We have come to fulfill our vow. By his grace, she is alive. From 3 a.m. to 10 p.m., I recite Baba's name 1,25,000 times with this mala. My name is Vishwanath Iyer. Over 60 years ago, our family came here from the south. We have experienced unity Baba taught us.
Shirdi, once known as the village of Shiladi, is in the Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra. It was Baba's chosen place of Karmasthan, the place for action. Baba is known to have come to Shirdi in about 1868 as a young, spiritually evolved Siddha. For the next 50 years, it was Baba's hallowed place of residence, making an old dilapidated masjid or mosque his abode. By naming his residing place Dwarka Mai Masjid, in one master stroke he dumbfounded and disarmed all fanatical elements. Every nook and corner of the Holy Pilgrim Center is stamped with Baba's presence. Baba lit the sacred fire or dhuni by his yogic powers inside the precincts of the Dwarka Mai Masjid. The sacred fire burns to this day. The holy ash or udi from that fireplace was Baba's magical cure for all types of ailments. Its curative power was and is miraculous. The ash is the cherished prasad of Shirdi, much sought after and treasured by devotees. Baba's miracles were a divine manifestation of his spiritual perfection. Miracles continue to happen even today and will continue to do so. Baba had once said, "Once you entrust yourself to the hands of the Sadguru, you do not have to worry. I never forsake anyone who relies on me." Baba spent long hours in meditation under the sacred neem tree in the Guru's Sthan. Baba said that this was the place of the samadhi of his guru from a previous birth. By ties of Rinanubandha, he was drawn to this place again. In a mystical manner, he said that Roshan Shah Mian, the Lord of Light, and Venkusa were his gurus. Baba was a great believer in Hanuman, who symbolizes strength, wisdom and devotion. The Hanuman temple near the masjid augured well for the spiritual ambience of Shirdi. Baba is known to have engaged in deep discourses with a learned Pandit named Devidas, who lived near the temple. Baba is believed to have spent alternate nights in the Chowdi or rest house, where his followers had open discussions with him. The lamp at Nandadeep is reportedly lit from the flame created by Baba with his miraculous touch. It is said that when the local oil merchants refused to supply oil, Baba lit the lamps with water. Baba loved nature and gardening. He is known to have personally watered colorful flower beds. This mighty peepal tree was a sapling in those early years. The main temple, or the Sanctum Sanctorum, enshrines the sacred tomb or Mahasamadhi. This temple was built during Baba's time by his ardent devotee Gopal Bhuti of Nagpur. It was originally meant to be a Krishna temple, but was destined to be consecrated as Baba's temple after his death in 1918. To peer past the mystique of time and to know more about Baba's early days, the eminent writer V.B. Kher undertook major historical research. His spiritual odyssey brought to light profound details about the unique and universally revered saint. Baba's closest and chosen disciple, Swami Sai Sharananand, the last living contemporary of this great spiritual leader, gave a wealth of information he had gathered directly from the Master.
I was very fortunate enough to meet Swami Sai Sharanananda in person in November 1974. Sai Baba was heard making inquiries with the visitors from Patri about the leading families there. This was a sure indication that he had special knowledge of Patri and he belonged to it. Dinkar Rao Chaudhary is a scion of the old landed gentry of Patri, whose ancestors built this fortress more than 400 years ago. Let us now meet him, who will give you the information first hand.
My name is Dinkar Vasudev Chaudhary. Our recorded family history is over 700 years old. This Chaudhary fort has belonged to us since our ancestors' time, and we all still live here. The then Sultanate had granted my forefathers the title to 14 villages with complete rights. The old Nizam's rule made conversion of one male member compulsory to inherit family property. And so, one of my ancestors, Godaji Isaji, converted to Islam. From generation to generation, homage has been paid regularly at his tomb. Our family has known the Busari family of Patri for over 150 years. Busari means a grain trader's family. Years ago, when I was small, as I sat here with my father, a poor Brahmin passed this way, begging for alms. My father commented, "What a pathetic state for somebody who is related to Sai Baba." That man's name was Bhau Busari.
And this gave me a big clue that Sai Baba belonged to the Busari family. And this was the starting point of my research. Bhau Busari's ancestry was found out. After much careful research, I could locate the last living link of the Busari family in Professor Raghunath Maharudra Busari, who owned the house of Busaris in Pathri, which was in utter ruin and was dilapidated when I visited Pathri in 1975. Professor Busari's grandmother had told him that Haribhau, the third son of Parshuram Busari, had left his hearth and home at the age of 8 in the company of a Sufi fakir in search of God.
The fakir told the children's father, Parshuram, that his young son was preordained to go with him in search of God. It was a divine command. The strange fakir who took the boy along was compassionate and took care of him in a paternal way. Baba often recalled those early years and spoke about their wanderings, probably in the present Marathwada region. During this period, the boy gained a thorough mastery over the Quran and Islamic tenets, and particularly about Sufi mysticism. Sufism is a mystical sect of Islam. It emphasizes total surrender to God and universal brotherhood. The concept of ishq, or unconditional love to the Almighty, is akin to the bhakti cult in Hinduism. Sai Baba's spiritual evolution as a Sufi fakir is due to this childhood exposure. One version also believes that the fakir later sent the young boy to a revered Brahmin priest at Selu for the completion of his spiritual growth. Sai Baba recalled lovingly his Guru Venkusa, who had demanded from him a Guru Dakshina of 2 paise, which he had given wholeheartedly. These 2 paise symbolized Shraddha and Saburi, or faith and forbearance. Baba was born around 1838 during the reign of Queen Victoria. The expanding British Empire had colonized large parts of India with its policy of divide and rule. India had become the richest possession of Britain, indeed the jewel in the crown. The imperialists had a vested interest in seeing that the Hindus and the Muslims were kept divided, as their unity would have been disastrous to the empire. Later historical turn of events showed how tragic this policy was to be for India. Years passed by and nothing further is known about Baba's boyhood. We learn of Baba next as a young, spiritually matured fakir as he rested under a tree in the village of Dhupkher near the Yel Ganga river. It is believed that a Muslim trader named Chand Patil had lost his mare a few days ago and was at a total loss as all search was in vain. The young fakir beckoned to him and, reading his mind, pointed out where the mare was. Chand Patil realized that the young man was no ordinary mortal. He humbly begged him to join his sister's wedding party which was to leave for Shirdi, the groom's village. The all-knowing Baba smiled and agreed, and Shirdi's history was rewritten. It is believed that the marriage party stopped at the Khandoba temple at night. It was here that Baba first set his foot in Shirdi. It was here that the Khandoba temple priest, Malsapati, welcomed the young fakir with the words, "Aao Sai," or "Welcome Sai." After that, the young fakir was called Sai, and then Sai Baba. Khandoba is Shiva, and the priest Malsapati had the privilege to become among Baba's early devotees. Baba had complete trust in Malsapati. It is said that when he did his first yogic exercise of assuming complete samadhi in 1886, he left his body in the care and custody of the priest, bidding him to look after it for 3 days, after which he would return. And so it happened. Baba opened his eyes as though nothing had happened to him. The local people were awestruck. Baba is known to have had a magnetic personality. He said it was only by ties in the previous birth or in Anubandha that people came to him. A local housewife named Bayaji Bai Patil insisted on feeding him daily before taking a morsel herself. Baba said that she was his sister in a previous birth. Sai Baba showed reverence for all living creatures. He thus identified the unity of spirit in all forms of life. Shirdi experienced a total resurgence and vitality with Baba's presence. He cared for all without any distinctions. Bringing all castes, creeds and communities together was unheard of in those times, and this gradually awakened a new awareness of unity. He enjoined everyone to celebrate life in total harmony and in a spirit of togetherness. Baba was particularly fond of children and told them inspiring stories. He took upon himself the sufferings of his believers and even personally nursed those suffering from disease such as leprosy. He distributed the holy ash or udi from his dhuni as a miraculously effective prasad. Baba had a thorough knowledge of Jnaneshwari and all the sacred Marathi texts written by spiritual masters such as Jnandev, Nivruti, Sopan, Eknath, Tukaram and others. He knew the Bhagavad Gita and the Holy Quran with equal depth. His personal attendant Abdullah had the honor of reading the Quran for him. Dwarkamai Masjid became the sacred place to which people came from far and near seeking the seer's blessings. Though Baba is known to have lived only on alms, he occasionally cooked for the whole community. People were awestruck to observe that he stirred the cauldron of boiling contents with his bare hands, and they were not burnt. The miraculous happenings were widely discussed and spread by word of mouth. Baba's miracles were a natural manifestation of his divine self and not consciously performed. Baba's fame as a saint of great divine power began spreading from the 1880s onwards. His devoted followers, such as Bayaji Bai Patil, Tatya Kote Patil, Bala Shimpi, and several others, served him unstintingly. Wealthy devotees such as Gopal Bhuti, Hari Sitaram Dikshit, Nana Chandorkar, Das Ganu spread his fame by the service in his name. Lakshmi Bai was that blessed person who had the fortune to cook food for Baba whenever he felt the need. Just hours before he passed away, Baba is known to have given her 9 silver rupees in appreciation of her total devotion. These 9 rupees are the family's heirlooms. Baba's personal attendant, Abdullah, was summoned in a strange way from distant Nanded. Besides reading the Holy Quran for Baba, he also kept random notes on those times. Abdullah's grandsons claim that these iron tongs, walking sticks, and pieces of chilam were used by Baba. The copy of the Quran is also the one which was read during Baba's time.
قولهم بأفواههم يضاهئون قول الذين كفروا من قبل قاتلهم الله.
The Shirdi Diary, written by G.S. Kapade, who was a frequent visitor to Shirdi seeking the saint's blessings, gives an account of those days. The fakir who begged for his food but gave like a king finally agreed to be taken in a procession and submit to be worshipped only to please his followers. This practice started on the 10th of February 1910 when Baba was over 70 years old. Several leaders approached Baba for guidance, among them C. Shankaran Nair. This was confirmed by his 98-year-old daughter Saraswati Amma. The Sri Sai Satcharita, written by R. G. Dhavolkar, gives great insight into the life of this incredible saint.
It was written with Baba's express permission and also his blessing. Mr. Dhavolkar was a frequent visitor to Shirdi, and he was also a very staunch devotee. And Baba blessed him and he commanded him to keep record. But he also added, I will write my own story. He is just an instrument. Each devotee was instructed according to his level, his capacity, as far as spiritual progress is concerned. And therefore, we find him using different ways with different types of devotees. Faith and forbearance, these were the 2 pies and nothing else. And when I immediately gave them to him, Guru, my mother, was pleased with you. Courage, O mother, is really the same as this forbearance and patience. Never cast it away. Whenever faced with a difficult situation, it will take you across safely. So this, in a nutshell, is what Baba meant by Shraddha, that is unswerving faith, and Saburi, that is forbearance and courage. He gave contrary indications as far as his lifestyle was concerned. For one thing, he would celebrate Ram Navami of the Hindus. He would also celebrate Muharram of the Muslims. And he knew Gita very well. He knew Quran very well. He entertained devotees irrespective of caste, creed, sex. And they were puzzled. Is he a Hindu or a Muslim? What they really did not understand is that he was beyond all these things.
However, the honor of spearheading Baba's message throughout India was left to Narasimha Swami of Salem, a successful lawyer and political activist.
A personal tragedy became a turning point in Narasimha Swami's life. 2 of his children were drowned the same day. Traumatized, he left everything to seek the meaning of life. After much wandering, he went to Ramana Maharshi to seek the truth. But Shirdi, about which he had heard, beckoned him. He reached there in 1926, only to learn that Baba had passed away 8 years ago. Heartbroken that Baba was no more, he sat dejected under the same neem tree under which Baba had sat years ago. Baba's vision appeared to him and he felt an inner peace. Narasimha Swami selected me to go with him in his mission to spread Baba's message throughout the country. I was his first priest.
Bolo Sainath Maharaj ki Jai. Bolo Sainath Maharaj ki Jai.
Narasimha Swami established the Sai Seva Samaj at Madras in 1937, the first center for this noble work. The spiritual heritage of the South is greatly enriched by Shirdi Sai Baba's several temples. The imposing seaside temple, built by Vijay Bulchandani in just 4 months, is a miracle. It was as though Baba willed it, and it happened.
Had the thought that I have to build Baba's temple at some stage of time in my life. And it so happened when it happened, it just happened. And everything what went to build a temple just came about, I don't know from where, it just happened that in 4 months' time when everything was put together, and I can only attribute to Baba bringing everything together.
So when we were doing the Dattatriya, that means you are going to have a Dattatriya temple there. And when we called up to order the Murti of Dattatriya, the person said, Murti is already ready here. Somebody's ordered and he hasn't taken it. So it's there for you. So it just arrived. I mean, it was ready. It was preordained, I think.
The serene meditation hall attracts people of all faiths here. Baba had shown that all the saints are one and the same, whatever individual faith or name they may assume.
Ashhadu anna Muhammadan
The ancient city of Hyderabad best exemplifies the deep veneration of Baba by people of all faiths.
Baba's influence has tremendously fallen in Andhra Pradesh during his lifetime. Many people started going to Shirdi right from 1916-17 onwards. This is the oldest temple which was started right from 1938.
My mother had a dream of an old Muslim fakir coming to our house. She told about this to my father, and a strange thing happened.
G.V.R. Naidu of Hyderabad received a small anonymous parcel containing the statuette of Sai Baba in 1938. This was a divine bidding to establish the Shirdi Sai temple at Koneru. The Panchloha metallic idol is made from the mold of the very same mysterious statuette.
Sai is not an individual. Sai stands for self-awakening institution. In now, about 70 to 80% of devotees who visit Shirdi are from Andhra Pradesh. That itself shows their spiritual bent of mind. I firmly believe that Siddhi Sainath is immortal saint. Still he is there. Even now thousands of people are going to Shirdi from all over the globe. That itself is an ample proof for us that his presence is felt there. And the present day, Saiism is the only panacea for the present day ills, because we find Christians, Muslims, Sikhs, all religious people gathering in one platform. It is only Shirdi.
Baba is still alive. Don't think that he has been mixed away with dust. He is moving about. Das Guru I met only when he was traveling to Coimbatore for attending 1948 some All India Sai Devotees Commission. I met him. He was very old. And Das Guru and Nana Sahib Chandarkar, they did lot of solid work for Baba in spreading Baba's name in Maharashtra. And I met Sai Sharananda also. I met him at Shirdi only. Extremely dedicated to Baba. He became sannyasi also. And Diksha also given by Baba in physical. Baba has inspired some devotees in 1979.
T.R. Naidu is one of the early devotees of Sai Baba, who has met many of the contemporaries of the saint. He has experienced Baba's vision and established a temple at Kharagpur in West Bengal. The garden city of Bangalore has millions of devoted followers of Shirdi Sai Baba. Empires have vanished and monarchs are no longer powerful. But Sai Baba has his ever-growing empire in the hearts of millions of his devotees all over the world. Sri Radhakrishna Swami established a Sai spiritual center in the early 50s.
And thanks to Swamiji's Tapasvic powers, he told people, do not go and ask for open donations and all. By a miracle, I can get a lot of money. I don't want to. This is going to be your own temple. It must come brick by brick. On Thursdays, about 5,000 people come here. We are not, they get experiences. We don't tutor them. Many of them we do not even know. Newer and newer devotees have been being added on. There are plenty of experiences in Australia, one or two places. In Tokyo and also in American States, you have many places where temples are coming up. Weekly meetings are being held, what they call Sai Baba Satsangs. Samatva Manobhava. Respect all religions. You can be friends. In other words, the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of men. He preached, for which he gave this, the great mantra, Saddha and Saburi. Is only a spiritual fountainhead like Baba who can bring peace to the world.
Mr. Sri Chand wanted me to write this biography of Sai Baba. I was so inspired. I must say, I fell in love with Sai Baba at that particular moment, and I decided I should write the book. I finished the book within a month, which is an amazing feat. And I have absolutely no explanation how I did it.
I can only say that I have been lucky that Baba selected me as an instrument to do whatever little I could do in the service of my Guru.
Sai Baba of Shirdi is a phenomenon. In all of India's history, there has never been another like him. He is not a conventional saint. He wrote no critique of the Bhagavad Gita or the Upanishads or any other holy work. He made no pretensions to scholarship. Yet he had a profound insight into both Hindu and Islamic scriptures. He founded no ashram or peetham, wrote no tome, initiated no disciple to take over from him. He performed miracles, but in no manner of means to impress upon anyone, devotee or otherwise. That's why I think Sai Baba is a very unique saint.
I saw Sai Baba. I was sitting in the Dwarkamai, which is lake, sitting on, and I saw all saints are one. They only want you to say, do good and be good. Hate none if you cannot love anybody. These are the three words he said. Do good, be good. Hate none if you cannot love.
Sai Nam Japam Nityam, Sai Dhyanam Karoti Chet, Dharmartha Kamamokyanse Sitasat Natupaya.
By Baba's grace, even senior citizens venture out and undertake arduous tasks with amazing ease. Baba had said, "My spirit is immortal. My eyes are ever on those who love me. I become a debtor to those whose sole refuge I am." Baba was a unique saint, for he created no new religion or isms. He only beseeched people to follow their own faith truly. They would find humanism within it. Baba's faith in his devotees is seen by the massive turnouts at all Sai Baba temples, especially on Thursdays, which Baba had ordained was his Guru's day. Thousands of devotees have experienced Baba's benign grace and an immediate answer to their fervent prayers. He gets things to happen in a very strange way. Baba had said, "I shall ever protect my devotees. I shall be with you the moment you think of me. Though I be no more in flesh and blood, I will communicate with you and respond to you." The Sai temple at Chhatarpur in Delhi beautifully expresses the ancient Gayatri mantra, seeking the illumination of the mind.
Shirdi Sai Baba, his name, I never had heard till 1989. In fact, as I experience now and what I hear of people, very strange coincidences about Shirdi Sai and his devotees do occur. Personal experiences has always to be unique, because I believe that the relation between God and his devotees is always highly esoteric, highly individualistic, atomic, and very, very related to him and unique. So yes, I have some experiences, but some experiences cannot be said. I started this activity of creating conditions or situations for devotees of Baba to come near to them. The first temple was 93 December, 94 January. By this time about 50-55 has come, another 15 are in pipeline, and almost every day one is hearing some temple coming up or is getting associated. Sri Shirdi Sai rose above religions, not by discarding religions. He used to tell, go by your path, whatever your gurus, whatever is come. Somebody didn't go to masjid, you say, do your prayer. A Hindu, you will say, go to Shiv Mandir. But beyond all this, follow humanism. He made no pretensions of a god. Lived with them like family members, somebody called Bhau, somebody Tau. He attracted and segregated that love form in each and every person that came to him, without, as I say, no pretensions of a god. But everybody realized that he had that God in him. The lone sentinel sitting between the relative world and the ugly world was pulling all the souls to him and left the body. But that eternal force still remains, and that's how it attracts people. Sri Sai knew the language of love, not only to human beings, also to animals, thereby proving that one species doesn't have the authority to manipulate all other species on earth. That nature, in order to have balance, must propagate all species in that love form.
Sai Satsangs are enthusiastic, colorful annual festivals bringing all devotees of Shirdi Sai Baba together. Turnout at these events is eloquent tribute to the fervent belief of his followers. This is Baba's festival. It brings all of us devotees together to share our experiences and enjoy the event. Even non-believers come here and benefit from the experience. I used to be very confused and restless. I prayed to Sai Baba for guidance. It has helped me tremendously. I am more confident now and also do better in my studies.
Our daughter was born here. At the age of 4 months, she became very ill. She needed 2 operations, and we almost lost her. So my mother-in-law, who was a great devotee of Sai Baba, took a vow that if all went well, we would take her to him before her first birthday. We took her to Shirdi, and it was a very beautiful experience. It was very shanti, very peaceful, and thanks were given. And I had a wonderful feeling there, like, oh, it was so genuine. Sai Baba is a representative of what is best in religion, to my feeling. He transcends all religions, and he is, because of his basic secularity, I would say that he is the saint of the century.
Well, Baba is one individual that to me presents himself as the spirit of life itself. He represents to me the Atmic aspect of life. Sai represents to me the entire principles that are embodied in the Zoroastrian scriptures.
The fact that the Zoroastrian scriptures say good thoughts, good words, good deeds. I want to emphasize that Sai's teaching is not a religious teaching. It is a spiritual teaching. It is a way of life. And it is not only meant for India. It is meant for the entire world.
He doesn't say follow this religion or follow that religion. He says follow your own religion, but be a better person, that's all.
I come here often. I get peace of mind. I am Baba's devotee and believe God is one.
I believe in all the religions. I believe in Sai Baba equally.
So before we do anything, we take Shirdi Sai Baba's name. He never lets us down. He is a living God.
I would say that, he's a living God. And there is no disputing that I am whatever I am today because of Baba. He is also the first God who has never asked you to fast. He never asked you to follow any ritual, right? So he says that don't come to me in an empty stomach. He said you only think about food. So he said go make sure you have a good meal before you come to see me. You can just go approach him. And he's so approachable at the time he was living. He's so approachable today from Samadhi. Anyone who goes gets us whatever they want. As long as ethical, oral and right thing, you're not hurting anybody, your desires are fulfilled. But India is the only land which has a unique spirituality about it. It has had teachings which are several thousand years old, like more than 5,000 years ago that we have inherited the Vedas, the holy books. So this is what is called the Punya Bhumi and the Karma Bhumi. And I think this is where Baba belonged.
The birthplace of Shirdi Sai Baba at Patri is witnessing a memorable event today. To witness the consecration is a once-in-a-lifetime experience and a spiritually rewarding event. As a boy, Baba visited his ancestral family temple of Hanuman at Panchbaudi near Patri. Now his very own temple graces his birthplace. We are privileged to have shared the 20th century with this unique spiritual power, Shirdi Sai Baba. His simple creed is contained in just two words, Shraddha and Saburi, faith and forbearance. Faith in the almighty power, faith in yourself as an instrument of God empowers you to do tremendous good. Saburi creates the space for tolerance, to nurture the spirit of live and let live. It creates the base for love, harmony and peace. This temple has also come into being in a unique way, which happens only by Baba's grace. The very home he was born in is glorified and consecrated by this temple. homecoming after 150 years. The little boy who left his house and home, the warmth and protection of his parents and family, in search of God, has returned as God himself. He has more than fulfilled his search, because God is within each and every one of us. Indeed, everyone who has surrendered with total faith unto Shirdi Sai Baba is a living shrine unto the Samarth Sadguru. The time of his appearance on our earth as a humble poor fakir is prophetic. His visionary teachings are always relevant. As the first flames sanctify the temple, it is certain that the Shirdi Sai Baba temple at Pathri will become a great pilgrim center in the years to come. A pilgrim center for humanism, for all of humanity.
Today's event will be recorded in letters of gold in the history of Pathri. About 150 years ago, from this very place, a small 8-year-old boy left his parents and his home and stepped out into the vast wide world. Why did he do so? He left in search of God in the company of a strange Sufi fakir. Years rolled by, and much time has elapsed since then. Now, deeply revered and acknowledged by the world, he has returned to his very village, to his very home, to ascend the throne of devotion and shower his blessings.
You call, and he answers. Shirdi Sai Baba is a living God.
त्वमेव माता पिता त्वमेव बन्धुस्तथा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियेण बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृतिस्वभावात् करोमि यद्यं सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरिं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्रं भजे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम